Rob, you alluded to the NFL.com's quarterback rankings. And for those that haven't heard, I'll give you the top 10. Now, Russell Wilson was actually 11. But top 10 would have been, I'm sorry, Russell Wilson was, he was 11.
No,
top
was
10 was
right.
Kyler Murray at number 10. Prescott.
Kyler Murray's ahead of
Russell Wilson. Thank you.
I
Thank
don't know.
I don't even think Dak should be ahead of Russell Wilson right now. Matthew Stafford, number 8. Lamar Jackson, 7. Joe Burrow, 6. Patrick Mahomes, 5. Justin Herbert, 4. Josh Allen, 3. Aaron Rodgers, 2. Tom Brady, 1. Rob G, are these, I don't believe so, but are these projections for this season?
That's coming into the season.
No, it's coming into the season. They do a weekly.
This is what they feel.
Yeah, they do a weekly quarterback index, and so you'll notice throughout the season, guys will go up and down depending on how they're playing. But entering the season, this is how they have them ranked.
Go ahead, let it out. Ridiculous. You got your panties in a bunch. I want to hear this.
No, well, I don't wear panties, so you save that with your description for yourself. But I got some issues with a lot of it. Number one, I think Russell Wilson is still a top 10 quarterback. I like Tom Brady. Would I put him 1? No. I mean, historically, sure. But going into this year, nah. But I think Patrick Mahomes, Rob, is still the best quarterback in football. And what was a quote-unquote down year last year, he still balled out. I mean, his numbers last year were nothing to sneeze at. People act like he didn't get busy. He did. And he got his team to the AFC title game for the 4th straight year. Threw for almost 5,000 yards. I think was 4th in the league in yards. Almost 285 yards a game. 5th in that. 37 touchdowns. 37 and 13 picks. And that's a down year. I really believe, and you can see it in the comment that they wrote in the article. And I'm going to read it, but I'm going to say first what I believe that Patrick Mahomes is a victim of his early success. The fact that his first year as a starter, he threw 50 touchdowns? And now anything else, it's like, what's wrong with Mahomes? My goodness. Wins the MVP, went the first year as a starter, then wins the Super Bowl. And now everybody's expecting dynamite every week. And so people think he was really down last year when I would argue that he wasn't. And Rob, 4 straight times to the AFC title game. Some of the guys ahead of him. I mean, we know how we judge quarterbacks. We judge them to some degree, not totally, but a lot of it's winning. Justin Herbert hadn't even been to the playoffs. And I like Justin Herbert, but what in the world has Justin Herbert done to be ranked ahead of Patrick Mahomes? I said Patrick Mahomes had 37 touchdowns, 13 picks last year in what was considered a quote-unquote down year. Justin Herbert's numbers, Rob, 38 touchdowns, 1 more touchdown, and 15 picks, 2 more interceptions. Threw for not even 200 more yards, like 150 more yards roughly. Patrick Mahomes' passer rating was higher. And again, Herbert has yet to make the playoffs. I could go, and Joe Burrow's got an argument over Justin Herbert. He took a team to the freaking Super Bowl without an offensive line. So I just think that, look, if you want to argue Rodgers, I would argue regular season, Rodgers or Peyton Manning is the best quarterback ever regular season. Mahomes has been better, shorter sample size, but better in the playoffs. But if you want to argue Rodgers, if you want to give Brady, some career accolades or whatever, but Justin Herbert, Josh Allen didn't even make the Pro Bowl last year. I mean, he was great in the playoffs, but he was not nearly as good in the regular season as Mahomes. So that's my rant, Rob.
I understand why you would feel that way, but the only thing I think that you're not being legit is you're understating Mahomes' year last year, Chris. And I get the numbers. You can pile them up and look at the numbers, but this is why people look at him sideways. He threw interceptions in 7 straight games, which was just not what people had seen from him. And they looked at it like something's not right here. 7 straight games, and he had 10 picks through the first 8 games. That's a lot of picks. And obviously, he was much better because what did he finish with, 13 picks, Chris? 13, right?
13.
So he got better. But he had a start that was just mind-boggling and head-scratching. And entering that season, where I just gave you where he threw 10 picks in the first 8 games, he had thrown 6 interceptions in his last 6 games in 2020, including the playoffs. And then don't forget how the Chiefs lost the playoff game, the AFC Championship game, to the Bengals. He threw a pick. So I get it. You're right. He'll never live up to the 50, the second year, and all that. But you can't act like he didn't play or he was different. And here's the other thing, too. And you can talk about whatever, regular season. I'm just talking about the regular season. If I would have told you after that year he won the MVP and people thought, you crowned him Jordan-esque and he's going to win all these MVPs and Super Bowls, that 3 years later he didn't have a MVP vote. I don't think, I'm not talking about winning every MVP, but not have an MVP vote over the last 3 years. I think you would have taken that bet that he would get some votes over the last 3 years. But last year, I think, Chris, just focusing in on last year, and he did rebound and play way better in the second half. I'm giving you that. But that stretch early on, coming off the interceptions in 2020, I think is why people downgraded him, and the look of it. It's not always like if you dig into the numbers, but he didn't look the same to me. Just an eye test. He was sloppy with the ball. He did some things, turnovers. You remember he also lost, Chris, more fumbles by being a little reckless with the football. You've even said it's too dipsy doodle, too cute a couple times. Would you agree with that, or am I overstating what
he definitely
said?
Gets cute.
Okay, I'm just want to make sure I'm not overstating what you've said. Okay,
right.
So I think that's why people look at him, and I agree with you. Justin Herbert is getting way too much love for not making the playoffs.
Fourth best in the league?
Lamar? That's
Joe
based
Burrow?
On right. That's based on that they like this kid a lot. They seem to seen what he's been able to do. But 15 picks is a lot of picks, Chris. I don't care who you are. Am I right? Like the best quarterback.
I mean, today's NFL, and I'm not gonna look.
And nobody, I'm not saying you got to be 3 interceptions.
Winston did a few years ago.
Like he had 30. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
and it's not fair to judge people against Aaron Rodgers who throws 3 or 4 every year. That's extraordinary.
I mean, Brady had 12 last year, something like that. So
3 or 4 is extraordinary.
I'm not going to kill a guy for having. That's Aaron Rodgers' claim to fame.
Right. That's his thing. He doesn't turn the ball over.
Right. So I'm not going to kill Mahomes for the 13 picks. Like I said, Brady had 12. Herbert had 15. Stafford had 17. Derek Carr, 14. Joe Burrow had 14. Josh Allen had 15. These guys had more. Allen had more picks and fewer touchdowns. One fewer yards per game in total. Fewer yards per attempt. Like, that's again, if you want to argue Brady because of his career, Rodgers because of what he's done in the regular season the last few years, that's one thing. But you putting these young boys ahead of Patrick Mahomes, and Rob, you said it as you were critiquing Mahomes. You compared him to the first year Mahomes, right?
No,
His first year as a starter.
First starting, you're right.
Yeah, he looked different. He was more careless compared to the Mahomes in 2018 or whatever that year was, but not compared to Justin Herbert and Josh Allen. So that's my thing. And look, Rob, Tom Brady has won 3 MVPs. Tom Brady has only been first team All-Pro, I believe, 3 times. First team. So, even though you may be the best quarterback, you're not always, you got good quarterbacks. So it's going to be a little up and down at times, right? Tom Brady, Rob, went a decade without winning a Super Bowl.
No, I know. Well chronicled, but I'm just saying, after his start, Chris, people had really high expectations. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, and I think they're judging him by which is, hey, it's what happens, right?
Right, because he looks so good, you were like, he's unstoppable.
Everybody was saying,
remember that?
Rob,
Yeah.
You noticed on TV and radio, people were not only saying he's the best quarterback in the league, but they were obviously you couldn't rank him ahead of Brady, but they were saying like eye test, right? Talent, he's the best ever. Like people were going that far. I've always said he has that potential. I've never said he's the best yet, but there were people saying that. I saw them.
Yeah, we always said that because we always bring up the Jaws. You remember Ron Jaworski? Who said Colin Kaepernick was going to be the greatest
Jaws on TV since then.
I know. But you remember that, Chris. No, I know, Chris. You are so mean.
No, I love Jaws.
No, I know.
Get Jaws on this show.
Get him on the show again. We'll rub it in. But no, but that was, you remember that. After Colin Kaepernick came out of the gate playing unstoppable football. You remember that. They got to the Super Bowl.
That's a great point, Rob, because let's keep it real. Robert Griffin III was going to revolutionize the game. Colin Kaepernick was going to be the best quarterback ever. Patrick Mahomes. Now I'm still on Mahomes, but Patrick Mahomes was the greatest ever. Now it's Josh Allen or Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert, right?
So yeah, that's a great point. We tend to overreact in the media to quarterbacks. So we'll see which one gets it done this year. All right.